Okay. First of all, I have to say how thrilled I am to have everybody here. This is amazing. You are amazing. This group has been so supportive. We've gone through so many things, but look at where we are, 364 days from the groundbreaking. So welcome to the Mendes-Monteiro House ribbon cutting ceremony. We have some very esteemed guests in our audience. Please forgive me if I forget anybody. You can hit me on the way out. But I do know that we have members of Partners in Housing Group, who was our developer. We have members of the Dartmouth Housing Authority Board, both present and past. Members of the Monteiro family, and a very special welcome to you, Mrs. Monteiro. It warms my heart that you're here today. From the town of Dartmouth, we have Cody Haddad, the town administrator, and Heidi Brooke, the chairwoman of the select board. Buddy Baker-Smith, my CPC hero. And finally, my team. If you look on the back of your program, we have quite the team. We started this a little over 7 years ago. Thanks to Tom Tebow in Brockton, he let us look at his house, let us use it as a foundation, planted the seed, and here we are. For those who do not know, this house has been named in honor of Mr. Joseph Mendes and Mr. Joseph Monteiro, who were two long-term Housing Authority Board of Directors. They were very strong advocates of elderly and disabled housing, and this is for you. 364 days ago, we broke the ground for this project. With Mark Bilton, the Southeast Area DMH Housing Coordinator, as I said earlier, a visit to the Brockton Housing Authority's DMH house, and here we are. Thanks to several of the funders, including CDAC, CCRI, Home Ministries, EOHLC, Massachusetts Mass Works, Webster and Bay Coast Banks, the Dartmouth Housing Authority, the Dartmouth Community Preservation Committee, and private donations. Without your financial support and moral support, we would not have been able to attain the funding needed to get to where we are today. I can't begin again to say how much this house means to me, means to our community, and just a little, I'm hoping that afterwards everybody gets a chance to really look at the whole house. But there's one important part of this development that really hits home for me. I was the executive director of the Dartmouth Housing Authority for way too many years. Now, hopefully, fully retiring. But there was a pond, a natural pond, in between this field and the Housing Authority. And what I always hoped to be able to do was clean that up, thanks to Mass Works when we got the grant for that. And we made a beautiful walking path around it to unite the two communities, because it's all about aging in place. It's all about giving our elderly the dignity and the pride to finish their lives. I'm going to stop right now. To that end, I'd like to introduce Michael Gage, the president of Partners in Housing, to say a few words. Michael?
It's hard to believe that we're here today and this has come to fruition. It's rather amazing. You think projects, and having a background in municipal projects, you think projects will take, a reasonable amount of time, from the permitting, the planning, the design, issue the contract, build a facility, maybe a couple of years. But this project started And I had a conversation with a few of you as far back as almost 8 years ago, when our director and our leader in Partners in Housing, we discussed the idea of doing something with this property that the Housing Authority had. As Connie said, she had conversations with Buddy Baker Smith, who has a lot of experience in governmental housing for certain individual groups, and the project progressed in a direction that you see today, and that is for 10 units of housing, both in a congregate fashion and in an independent living fashion. It's remarkable because in the midst of that period of time, we had a pandemic. And we had, before the pandemic, fully budgeted. We had secured all those sources of funds that Connie mentioned. And in fact, we were ready to go. Well, things in the life of the pandemic changed dramatically. We got through the pandemic, and then, as we all know, the price of materials and the estimation of construction far exceeded what we had available. So then we had to start the process again and go look for additional money. And such sources as the town of Dartmouth, the Community Preservation Fund, anteed up additional funds came from the state. And we were finally able to fully design the project and put the project out to bid. It's remarkable in itself in that we have here now, and it's somewhat of an anomaly in that this is the second unit that our director has been able to bring from start to finish. Many of you I see here were actually at the dedication years ago for the Connor Assistant House, which is the old state police barracks. That's a veterans home, very successful, very well done. And she, within a short period of time after that, started to move forward with doing all of the logistics that I've just mentioned about making this a reality. It's that kind of dedication that's needed to make these projects happen. Because I'll be very honest with you, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of dogged determination, which this lady has, to stay with it. There are so many opportunities where you say, this is just not going to happen. Connie doesn't have that in her vocabulary. She has the urge, the desire, the dedication, and the commitment to make it happen and see that all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So, in my opinion, the success today is attributed to this individual here. She brought it together, and today we have a home that is very fitting for what the needs are today of the different senior individuals that have physical and mental health challenges, and it is fantastic. It is the culmination of a great, great opportunity, and we couldn't be more delighted. Partners in Housing is well established. Connie has been a great asset to help us get through that. We're a nonprofit organization. At our last meeting, we were already talking about what the next project might be. So we want to keep it on. We want to keep individuals like Connie, who have a tremendous breadth of knowledge, helping us. There are projects, members of Partners in Housing that are from other towns, and we're hoping to put those resources to these other towns to help their housing authorities build the kind of housing that's affordable and necessary for seniors in our community. Thank you.
You give me too much credit. However, before I go any further, I am sorry that I did not recognize Congressman Keating's assistant and Audra, wherever Audra is, Audra from Montigny's house, office, excuse me. Thank you. Michael, you give me way too much credit. Michael Mattis, our chair from the Dartmouth Housing Authority, wasn't able to come, but he does send his best wishes, and I'm sure he'll be able to come and see the house at another time. Next on our agenda is Cody Haddad, the town administrator from Dartmouth. Cody, where are you hiding? Ah, there you are.
Thank you, Connie. This isn't about me, so I'm going to keep this very quick, but this is a culmination of a community project. One of the things that I think is important to point out is, this is going to help Dartmouth residents. Dartmouth residents are going to be some of the individuals living here. The town funded this through Community Preservation Act funding to the tune of $1 million, which isn't just funded by a committee. The town spoke when they approved that. That goes to our town meeting. We have a couple hundred town meeting members, and that was approved on 2 different occasions to fund this project. The select board waived some building permit fees to see this project through. So it's great to have everybody here today, and we're very excited to have residents moved in and see this place come to life. So congratulations, Connie, and thank you everyone for being here.
Next on our agenda is Heidi Brooke. She's the chairwoman of the select board. Heidi?
Thank you. I stand before you bringing the excitement of this day from the entire board of selectmen. Today marks a new chapter in Dartmouth's ongoing commitment to community, dignity, and care for our seniors. I thank Connie Desmond and Maria Connor and their team for knocking, or rather kicking, down doors to make their vision a reality. Despite the delays in construction and the residual effects of the pandemic, we made it. The Mendes-Monteiro house stands as a promise that our residents grow old, that they can continue to live in a community surrounded by neighbors, services, and support. When we open these doors, we open opportunities for independence, connection, and aging with dignity. Thank you for investing in Dartmouth.
That's basically our goal. Hello? Somebody's fooling around here. Buddy Baker-Smith from our CPC is our next on our agenda. Here he comes. Thank you, Buddy.
Thank you, Connie, and I have to disagree with you. I don't think you can be thanked enough. It's really just tremendous to be here today and see what this place looks like, and to know the amount of effort that's been made to get us here today. And I do want to reiterate what Cody shared, which is the town meeting of Dartmouth really needs to take some credit here, get the credit here. We take our proposals, our recommendations to the town meeting, and it's the town meeting that steps up and approves these recommendations and awards funds. And twice they did that for this project. And so I think we don't want to neglect kind of our gratitude and appreciation to the town of Dartmouth and for stepping up. There's a number of folks to thank, and I won't repeat the list that's been read, but I do want to add a couple of folks, and then also a shout out kind of that needs to, you can't say enough about. But first, there are folks here, Sue Plas from the Department of Mental Health, the area director. I saw Paul Santos is here from the New Bedford site director, a number of folks from Department of Mental Health, and Elwyn, I think, are here. These are folks who have done a whole lot of work on their end as well. As this housing was being built, there was a lot of planning and effort, I'm sure, about, okay, so how do we provide the best kind of services to support people who are going to live here? Because this housing, that will be important to its success. And I want to thank the folks at Department of Mental Health for doing all of that behind the scenes, not very sexy. Can't see the finish walls to that work, but it's extremely important infrastructure, if you will, that has been done on their end to be ready for a place like this. Connie, and then I will add Mark Bilton, are two people that I think really just you can't say enough about. Their roles are very similar. They have been with this project since its inception, since it was just an idea. And Mark being the area housing coordinator for the Department of Mental Health, Connie for Partners in Housing, each in their own way have been the people who have kept nudging this along, kept saying, no, that's a setback, but let's find a way forward to get us here. And I just want to thank both of you for that work, which is tireless, requires an incredible amount of persistence, but that's what it takes to do something like this. It's an extraordinary house. I had a chance to walk through this. It's an extraordinary house, and I have to say, it's truly a gift to people who are in need of mental health supports to have a place to live like this with such dignity and respect. Stable housing of this quality with supports that is affordable is so rare today. And I can't say enough in gratitude and thank you for all the work that people have done to benefit the people who are going to live here today and then in subsequent years. I would end there, except I was thinking about this. And I have to say that, you know, a project like this represents so much collaboration and commitment and cooperation and problem solving, not throwing up your hands and walking away. Architects, builders, financing people, human services. Not everybody sees eye to eye. Different perspectives, but it all gets worked out. And I just want to say, I feel like this house and today represents the best of what our communities can be. Welcoming, collaborative, problem solvers, even though we may come at things differently. When we are at our best in how we work as a community, this is what we can do. And so personally, I walk away today with a measure of hope and personally, truly inspiration, because I think our communities can be this good and this way in a lot of other things we do. And I'm going to personally, this will be one of my reminders about what is best about our communities when we act together and we stay together. And I hope you'll find the same inspiration. Thank you very much.
Wow. I'm not sure if Henry Quinlan is here, the president of SCIC. He's not here. John, would you like to speak on his behalf? So John has been able to step in when we needed to step up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Connie, I want to thank you for your positivity, your passion, week to week. When we were in those OAC meetings, and it was welcomed and appreciated. It got us through to where we are today, and I can't thank you enough for that. So thank you. Everyone, thank you for being here to celebrate this wonderful milestone. At South Coast Improvement Company, we take great pride in projects that make a difference, and the Mendes-Monteiro's house truly does that. As a former resident, 21 years, raised my family, it's awesome to see this, and coming full circle and being part of that. As the construction manager, our role was to turn this vision into a reality, creating a space that's not only beautifully built, but safe, supportive, and lasting for the people who will call it home for the many years to come. This project represents the best of what can happen when dedicated partners, skilled trades, and a shared purpose come together. Every wall, every detail here tells a story of a collaboration and care. We have been honored to have played a part in that story, and we're grateful to everyone who made it possible. Thank you for trusting us to help bring this meaningful project to life. Thank you.
We're almost done, I promise. But I can't say no to people who want to just be welcoming. And in that vein, Sue Plass, the Southeastern Area Director of DMH. Welcome, Sue.
Actually, Mark, if I can invite Mark Bilton up here too, because he's hiding in the other room over there. Yeah. No. You got to come right here. So there you go. He can't hide. So Mark was gracious enough to defer this to me. But I figured I'd share the honor with him. So on behalf of the Acting Commissioner for the Department of Mental Health, Beth Lucas, the New Bedford Site Director, Paul Santos, who's also hiding in the other room there, our friends and partners from Elwyn, and our Director of Housing, the Southeast Area Director of Housing, Mark Bilton, and most importantly, the people that we serve in the Department of Mental Health that are going to unbelievably benefit from this beautiful property. I wanted to thank Partners in Housing, Dartmouth Housing Authority, and the town of Dartmouth for this incredible opportunity. We especially want to express our sincere appreciation to Connie, and as everybody else is lining up, we too want to line up and say thank you. As we know, this development project was a labor of love, and that without her grit and determination, this would not have become a reality. We are also extremely grateful to be part of the Mendes-Monteiro family. The legacy of Joseph Mendes and Joseph Monteiro and all that they have done for their community is now memorialized and will be remembered and celebrated long into the future whenever someone walks through these beautiful doors. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
But I want to know where the timeline is that you unfolded at the groundbreaking. We've got some
It's an
wall
amazing
space.
accomplishment. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mark. Next on our list is Maura. Where are you, Maura? Maura and I have become more than just friends, more than co-workers. You've put up with a lot with me, and thank you for your patience.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It's so important to celebrate accomplishments, especially those that take many years, as you all have heard. I started working with Connie and the Partners in Housing Board before my almost 13-year-old son was born. We collaborated on the Veterans Project and now this one. As you all know, developing affordable housing is hard, but developing permanent supportive housing, especially for a very specific group of people, is even harder. However, Connie and her board would not be deterred at all. They had tenacity and pursuit of their goal of getting this housing built in Dartmouth. I think we all felt each board and nail and piece of drywall of this project, which makes the finished project even more special. This housing fills a needed gap in the continuum of care that exists for individuals associated with the Department of Mental Health. Without this housing, people would either be homeless, in and out of shelter, or living in an assisted living facility. None of those are good options. And this housing will provide a measure of dignity to the residents that they would not have been able to access otherwise. The congregate and independent housing will allow people to transition through different levels of care depending on what is happening in their lives. I've really enjoyed working with the DMH staff and seeing their level of commitment to the individuals that they serve. The same is true for the staff at the Housing Authority and Partners in Housing, and also Elwyn. I am honored to have been part of this project and look forward to hearing about how Connie spends her retirement now that the project is complete. And I also wanted to just talk about two other groups of people who haven't been mentioned. One is Catalyst, the architects for the project. Yanni and Catherine did an amazing job. There are many changes that had to be made throughout the course of the project during that whole period where we had to cut a couple $1 million out of the project. And then also Rimkus, who is the owner's project manager, the clerk of the works in this project. I deferred so much to Mike. It was really helpful to know that the construction period was going to be taken care of. So thank you all. Excellent job.
Yes, Catherine, Yanni, and I, we've bonded over many, many Zoom calls, many battles, but I couldn't have done that without you guys too. And I know that my board so appreciates the architects and the clerk of the works and the construction company. It was just a really, really good team. Next on our list is Bryony Clifton. She's from the state of Massachusetts, HLC. She's one of our funders.
Thank you, Connie.
You're welcome.
I just want to be extremely brief. On behalf of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Executive Offices of Housing and Livable Communities, I want to congratulate Connie and her board. Without Connie's determination, there were so many times to call it a day. I'm echoing some of the other speakers. But Connie just wouldn't have it, as Maura said. And as an underwriter, one of the things that we're always looking for is how do we assemble enough resources to make sure that this is going to be a feasible project, that it's going to be, it's going to last through the years, it's going to have great design and great services. And I do want to acknowledge some of my colleagues that helped with that, all of the folks that worked on this at the Department of Mental Health. At the very end of the project, Adrienne Cassidy stepped into her new role, who she does essentially coordinates all the housing that's happening at the state level for the Department of Mental Health. And the other major underwriter of this project was Sarah McKeever, who worked at CDAC, and they provided early assistance, pre-development, to the project and technical assistance. I also want to acknowledge the families, the Mendes and Monteiro families. I didn't know much about the folks that were being named, and I love hearing about local leaders, because it's really from the ground up that we can do this kind of community development and continue to create these livable communities, taking care of our seniors, folks who need services and supports to maintain their housing and independence. Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to call on Robert Monteiro. He's the nephew of Mr. Monteiro. He was here with the groundbreaking, and I'm glad that you're here for the ribbon cutting, Mr. Monteiro.
I'm extremely impressed that a mere 364 days ago, we were out there in the front of this building, and we had the groundbreaking ceremony. The events leading up to that, our cousin Paula had called me and told me about it, and she said that we need to have somebody make a speech. And I said, well, I think you'll do an excellent job. And she said, well, we drew straws. Of course, I wasn't there, and I drew the short straw. Obviously, I drew the short straw again today. But I'm extremely proud to represent the Monteiro family here today. And it is a pleasure and an honor to be a part of this momentous ceremony, paying tribute to two great citizens of this great town. Mr. Mendes and my Uncle Joe Monteiro desired to make a positive impact on life in Dartmouth and served with honor for many years on the Dartmouth Housing Authority. it is truly fitting that this building is named in their honor, which will serve to enhance the lives of those who will reside at this great facility. It is a true testament not only to my uncle, but Mr. Mendes, but to the many residents of this town and Housing Authority members who envisioned a building of this type for the purpose it serves and the residents who will benefit from it. Of significance to this event is the fact that we are joined here today by my uncle's wife, our Aunt Archie, who in July of this year turned 101. She was extremely supportive of my uncle's tenure on the Housing Authority, primarily because it got him out of the house, so she could do some uninterrupted knitting and participate in exercise at Dartmouth Council on Aging. On behalf of the Monteiro family, we are extremely proud of this honor bestowed on our Uncle Joe and wish this great facility and the Dartmouth Housing Authority continued success in providing housing to those in need. Thank you.
So as you all remember, back at the groundbreaking, Joanne Mendes was Mr. Mendes' daughter. And when I told her that we were going to be doing this today, she sends her regrets, but she's traveling Europe. So, well, I don't know why she couldn't fly home for one day. Come on, the rest of us are here. So she did send these words. Dear Connie and Dartmouth Partners in Housing, I am so thrilled that you are finally able to realize the fruits of your vision, hard work, and dedication to this project. I am also deeply touched that you chose to honor my father, Joe Mendes, by naming this unit the Mendes-Monteiro House. My dad served the Dartmouth Housing Authority for over 20 years. During that time, he also served on the board of MassNARO, the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials. I did too. Joe Mendes was a man born of humble beginnings, but he believed that most of his generation is giving back. He would be honored and proud to know that his name is associated with this worthy and much-needed project, along with his fellow board member and friend, Joe Monteiro. I am sorry that I am unable to be here today to celebrate this wondrous occasion, but I will be thinking of you all and wishing you the best. If my dad were alive, he'd be humbled by your generosity and thoughtfulness. Thank you again for remembering and honoring a truly special guy, my dad, Joe Mendes. So that wraps up the speaking. All I can smell is the salad. As I started by saying, it's been quite a year. It's been quite a year. Thank you all for being here today. Again, the support from each and every one of you is what has enabled this house to be a home for some of the most vulnerable of the population. I could not be more proud, and I know my board says the same, to hand the keys over to Elwyn. And I know that you and your group are going to do an amazing job. It's meant a lot. And to the Department of Mental Health, let's build some more of these, please, okay? May you and all the clients enjoy this house and all that it has to offer.
It's always going to be a home.
I want the front porch. I would like to take this time to thank Dartmouth Cable TV for being here today, Dartmouth Week and Senior Scope for covering the event. Special appreciation goes to Elwyn for providing today's refreshments, to Kelly from SCIC. I love you, Kelly. She has helped me put this event together. She's picked up the pieces through a very difficult week this week for me, and I thank you for that. Last but not least, Dartmouth Housing Authority. I know you're around the corner there somewhere, but I want to say thank you, Robbie. Thank you for hearing me, for putting up with me, for letting me use the guys to put together some of the last-minute details. It's been quite a ride. please take the time, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. I won't forget like I do at the O'Connor Sisson House. We're going to do the ribbon cutting. Please take the time to look at the rooms, talk to the people who are such a big part of this, take a walk around the walking path if it's not raining, and again, thank you. Okay, now for the fun part. Okay, are we ready? Yeah. Waited a long time for this. Am I doing it right? Thank you, everyone. Please, there's refreshments inside, and we have posters to give everybody, so please come in and continue the party.